Manipur now, where the Supreme Court has said that dispose unclaimed bodies respectfully if no kin comes. Before we get into the discussion, I would like to just read a bit about how the news has been covered. And in fact, it is by the Indian Express, which says that with scores of bodies lying unclaimed in morgues across Manipur, which has been embroiled in ethnic strife since the beginning of May, a three-member committee of former judges constituted by the Supreme Court has now advised that the state government publish a list of the dead so that their next of kin can be identified, and if no one comes forward, dispose of the bodies in a quote-unquote respectful manner. Now, in a statement last week, the Manipur police had disclosed that 96 bodies continue to remain unclaimed in the morgues. For those who do not know, Manipur has remained on the edge since 3rd of May. Now, it's been a couple of months since 3rd of May, when it was the first time when an ethnic conflict broke out between the Kukis and the Meiteis. In fact, ever since, there has been deep unrest in the state. Structures have been vandalized, people have died, over 100 people have lost their lives in fact in the violent clashes that have been ensuing between the two communities. I think just day before yesterday is when the internet services were restored, and for all these months the internet remained suspended. There have been in fact a lot of other grim activities that have been taking place. You know, we had those horrific visuals of women who were paraded naked, and you know, there have been so many things that have, so many in fact incidents that have come out from Manipur which are nothing but gut-wrenching. The Supreme Court in fact had also last month formed a three-member committee of former High Court judges headed by retired Jammu and Kashmir High Court Chief Justice Geeta Mittal to look into the humanitarian aspect of the violence in Manipur. Nancy, do you have...
Well, you know, Neha, whenever we talk about Manipur, it just saddens my heart because we have been covering the violence for so long now, and there is this new normal in Manipur now. You know, violence and everything is being so... has the peace and normalcy doesn't look like a, you know, a dream that is going to come true in the near future. It doesn't look like the goal that, you know, normalcy will ever return to Manipur, because the kind of incidents that we have been reporting, and now that we have seen that, you know, in a ethnic violence, any type of clash, dead bodies. So, you know, to a Supreme Court, an apex court of country has to come out and say that please be respectful, have some humanity, you know, go ahead, and you know, the ethnic violence is shattering our hearts, but you have to be respectful by at least burying the bodies, you know. So that is something very saddening, because this new normal of Manipur is very hard to accept. And I was reading about it, and it said that according to the affidavit, among the suggestions made by the committees is that the state government publish and circulate the list of people who have died in the conflict and make efforts to expeditiously identify the next of kin, ensuring that they receive the stipulated ex gratia payment. In the event that the effort does not bear fruit, the committee has advised the district collectors identify appropriate areas and dispose of the bodies in a respectful manner. So now the situation has gone this worse, that the Supreme Court and the court has to ask and come and say that please be respectful with the bodies, have a proper procedure, because the killings, the number of people who have died has crossed the mark of 175 now. We have the latest tally that we have, where 175 people have been killed in the ethnic violence, which started, you know, Meitei and Kuki. That has been going on for so long now, 3 months. It's not a, you know, and government, you know, sometimes we see that they are deploying extra security forces in Manipur, sometimes we see that they are withdrawing.
Well, it looks like that there is not really an answer to what has been happening in Manipur, you know, given that there have been certain steps that have been taken by the center, there have been many other steps that have been taken by the state government. You know, if you remember, if you recall, Chief Minister Birendra Singh also wanted to step down, but he was kind of, you know, stopped from stepping down. There were other, I think, you know, there were some people who wanted him to stay. Now, you know, Manipur is a beautiful, tiny northeastern state in India, and you know, whatever has been happening, honestly, just, you know, take a look at these visuals. I mean, who would have thought in the wildest of their dreams that this is what we would be witnessing in Manipur, not for a day, not for 2 days, not for 3 days, but for months and months. Now, this is something that, you know,
and still, peace doesn't look to be on the cards at all. I mean, how is it going to, help us? Because when we were talking about this violence clash and everything, the kind of incidents that I'm, reporting from the past days is that, then when this illegal supply of arms and ammunition that has been going on in the state, is the real.
Absolutely, and most importantly, Nancy, it is a border state. So
Yeah.
the China, Pakistan
Myanmar
would be
fencing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They would be, they would be trying their best to just peddle as much unrest as they want. And this is very it's very easy for us to sit in our AC rooms, or for people sitting in their AC rooms to comment, अरे यार सरकार कुछ नहीं कर रही है, सरकार को कुछ करना चाहिए. They also have to understand कि सरकार को इस मसले में बहुत ध्यान से they have to take a step forward, because they know that anything, honestly anything can happen.
Definitely.
So it's not as easy as it looks, if that's the right thing to.
Definitely. I mean, the government needs to intervene. Obviously, the state government has been, have failed to restore peace in Manipur, because there are a lot of things when we're talking about an ethnic clash and when talking about tribal
Absolutely.
groups. It's it gets very sensitive.
And you can't hurt people's sensitivities at all. I
At
mean,
all.
they've been so deeply involved in that. Look, just imagine, Nancy, like we will also, everything, obviously, at the end, everything is okay. But just take a look at what exactly has happened in these 3 months. Think about those mothers who have lost their
Yeah.
daughters, who have lost their sons. Think about those husbands who have lost their wives. Think about those wives who have lost their husbands. Everything will settle down.
yeah.
But what about their lives have been turned upside
going
down?
to compensate that?
Who's going to compensate that?
Yeah, and
That's-
we were talking about it, and there was this incident that came out, and which said that a army jawan who was on leave, he came out, and he was wearing he was escorted by 3 miscreants who took him out, and the only witness to that abduction was his 10-year-old son, who gave
So
who went to
tragic.
police, and he gave the statement. He was the eyewitness, and next day his father was dead, and he was shot in the head. So it's so easy for now people to just dress up as security forces, to have access to illegal arms and ammunition. Then we have the whole Myanmar fencing thing that is going on, and I think I was reading about it somewhere that they are going to hold a meeting with the center today to talk about this as well, the Myanmar fencing issue.
There have been
because-
multiple meetings on that front too, and
Yeah.
not only that, there have been other, there have been kind of, the center is also, be it Amit Shah visiting Manipur a couple of times, be it Prime Minister Modi assuring that everything will be all right. As I said, it's easier said than done. There are a
Yeah,
lot is at
definitely.
stake. Let's just put, above all, the fact of the matter that as I mentioned, is that Manipur is a bordering state, and we got to be very, very careful with that, because we know what Pakistan and China has been up
Yeah.
to, especially in the past couple of years, and how China has been very shamelessly doing whatever, carrying out certain acts.
Definitely.
So of course there honestly if we just keep the journalistic side of it apart, our heart sinks, and I'm sure, Nancy, you feel no different. That
Definitely.
to look at what has been happening, to see people, it takes a lifetime to build a house, but it takes a fraction of seconds to
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
just all of that is just nothing but rubble. So it kind of it's I don't know if
It's always painful to report about Manipur.
it's been very painful. It's honestly it's just taking a look at what has been happening. These mothers
I mean, the
who have
trust
been,
deficit.
and the kind of role that women have played.
Yeah.
You would, that's commendable. Be it
Definitely.
kind of women coming out and protesting and asking for their rights. Be it women saying that we have had enough of this. So it's like women have been kind of leading
Definitely, but we also have to take a look at the angle here that the trust deficit.
Oh, of course,
These
of course.
civilians, they have been stopping the security forces. They don't trust them anymore. They don't want them to come in the state and help them, because we have seen people who have been causing the violence, the mobs, they dress up as security forces. So it's very hard for the civilians to not protest and let the security forces come and help them, because they think that they are against us.
It takes years to
Because
build trust,
they are
but just
cooking. Yeah, we have been seeing that security forces and their credibility have been questioning. Have been
Yeah, yeah,
questioned
have
in
been
Manipur
questioned time
again
and again, time and again,
that
absolutely,
they are
repeatedly.
supporting one kind of. They are being biased in their. They are not doing their job properly. They belong to this tribe. They are supporting this particular community. So that has been going on for so long, and this trust deficit
As I
among
said, you know, it
civilians
takes years to build trust, but just a
Yeah.
fraction of seconds to
to
it's
destroy
all
it.
gone.
So I
It's all
think
gone.
it's going to take a lot of time for the civilians to build that trust again, and the government really needs to, you know, come in
And you know, I've
take
been,
care of the arms and ammunition.
I have been speaking to a lot of people in Manipur. You know, they say, you know, whenever I ask them what is the solution, you know, now that we have a problem at hand, we know that, you know, this is what has been going on, but what really is the solution? So the only thing that they say that the solution will not come from outside. Solution will have to be given
From
by
within,
both
yeah.
both these communities, the
Yeah.
Métis and the Kukis. You know, unless and until they decide that you know that we are, you know, it's enough destruction has been done, we have had enough. You know, they have been, and you know, they've been covering Manipur for years now. So if
Definitely.
they're saying that, and you know, many experts also, if they've been saying this, I think, you know, there is more to it. And of course, you know, the solution would not come from anywhere, but the solution will come from both of these communities sitting together and deciding that, you know, what is going to be the way forward. That we have had enough bloodshed on our soil, we have had enough of, you know, whatever, you know, we've gone through, our, you know, shaming our women, or, you know, it honestly, it just breaks my heart to even speak about it. So the
Definitely.
situation will not come from anywhere, it will come from both of these communities.
So, yeah, definitely. I mean, I was reading about it, and you know, it always shatters my heart that this is not something that, you know, Manipur should be witnessing. I mean, the government really needs to, you know, come out and, you know, intervene in the matter and restore peace in Manipur
We
as
can
soon as they can.
only hope
We
that,
can
you know,
only
peace
hope.
prevails,
Yeah.
right?